Hello and welcome to Qsports. I'm Mamudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Coming up tonight, we're talking about the money matters for the Africa Cup of Nations. The Gambia preparations are highly in gear towards the Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. But everything is about money. The team needs to get to preparations because obviously they would need a lot of money. We're talking about $388 million. That's the budget for the national team to Cote d'Ivoire. And this budget is set aside to see the team all the way from the group phase to the final. So I have with me in the studio a member of the National Coordinating Committee, a body set aside by the government, and also key stakeholders are part of it to be able to get these funds so that the national team can realize their dream of competing in the Africa Cup of Nations. The last time the Gambia reached the quarterfinals in Cameroon, and this time around, maybe we should even surpass that, reach the semifinals. Joining me in the studio is Ida Ba from the National Coordinating Committee. Ida, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gajaga, for having me. Good evening to everyone out there watching Qsports.
Ida, we're talking about money. $388 million is. The campaign have already begun. It's on social media. It's everywhere. How far are we as far as raising this money is concerned?
Well, we are right at the bottom. But like you said, it's everywhere on social media. We're doing as a committee, especially the Media and Publicity Committee. We're doing as much as we can to make sure that the public is aware of what is happening and what the target of the National Coordinating Committee is. Like you have mentioned, we are to raise $188 million. $388 million Gambian dollars that would take us to the AFCON from the group stage all the way to the finals, including match bonuses, to chartered flight, accommodation and feeding of fans and officials from the Gambia to Yamoussoukro, and from there back. That's if we make it all the way to the finals. But from the beginning, like I said, we are right at the bottom. But hopes are there. We are definitely hopeful that at the end of the day, we will raise the required amount of money needed as far as our preparation and participation for our second appearance at the AFCON is concerned. So as a committee, there is a committee set aside and tasked to raise this fund. And as we speak, the committee has written letters to various institutions in this country, being corporate or any other institution in this country have been written to so far. Letters have been delivered, and the fundraising committee, as we speak, have also this set up different groups whereby they would work as a team and, you know, start knocking on doors from one institution to another, and then start reminding them about our sponsorship letters we have written. Notwithstanding, we know that the government of the Gambia is very much committed to sports and sports development in this country, more so football we are talking about in this case. And I'm very much sure that at the end of the day, there would be a certain amount to be committed by the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Youth and Sports to support this route to AFCON. But it's never enough because government cannot do it alone. We've just mentioned $388 million is a lot of money, and we are all so sure that government cannot come up with all of that money. So this is the platform, and this is the time to call on all Gambians. It is a national call. Like I keep saying, the team goes out there, it participates. It doesn't participate in the name of Musa Baro or Germano. It participates as a nation, as a country called the Gambia, with the red, white, blue, white, green flag raising up there. So if you're passionate about this country, if it really means something to you, I think this is the right time for you to come on board to really support the cause of the Gambia's second participation. And like I've been saying in our outreach all of this time, remember we've qualified for the first time during the Cameroon edition. It was the 2021 AFCON, because we have done things we've not been doing. We've spent more than we used to spend. We've done so many, technical preparations. I wish someone from GFF was here to mention or highlight all of these things. But all of these things come with a huge budget. It comes with a price. And these are some of the prices that we...
Football in general is expensive.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just reading an article recently about football qualification. African nations road to their qualifications to Abidjan. And then I saw that Morocco, as we all know, yes, is a big team, have paid nothing or have spent so far nothing less than 100 million US dollars in their qualification to the AFCON.
Yes.
So you look at our neighbor Senegal and other countries, they definitely the strength is not the same. But football is not cheap. Football is expensive and is a team sport. This is why it requires
and $388 million as dollars, as it sounds, in dollars is just $6 million.
Thank you.
So when you look at that money, in dollars is a lot of money. Gambia is a small country, and then there is not much money as far as our coffers are concerned when it comes to budgetary constraints every now and then. So the government, like you said, would come in, but
definitely
there's also need for public support, especially the private sector, is it?
Especially the private sector. You've just mentioned something very important, that the money is not much. It's less than $10 million. In the Gambian context, it's a small country. Everybody is like, wow, that's a lot of money. But if you look at it again, I have to emphasize that it's a budget.
It's a budget, yeah.
It's a budget that is...
and it's been budgeted for all the way.
For all the way to the finals.
That is if we make it
our
up
wish,
that far.
Exactly, to make it all the way to the finals and even lift the trophy. So if we have to go that far, we have to plan for it, because this thing that happened in Cameroon. Cameroon was our first experience as a country. So we learned a lot of things from it. Because what happened is... I
understand the Cameroon budget was basically just to see us through in the group phase. Maybe we might play 3 matches and then, get knocked out of the competition.
Just 3 matches, and we ended up playing how many matches? 5. So we were really constrained down there in Cameroon because it wasn't budgeted for. Who knows if we had defeated Cameroon in that game, would we really go and play the semi-finals? That was a question mark, because we were already struggling because it was never part of the budget. So that is a lesson being learned. This is why we've decided that as an NCC, we budget all the way to the finals, and we're hopeful that the boys can take us there. You never know. This is football. Going to the tournament the last time, we thought we were going to stop at just the preliminaries, and now we went all the way to the quarterfinals. So this this budget definitely includes the all the way to the finals, the transportation of funds to and from the Gambia, their accommodation, feeding, and allowances. This budget also includes the chartered flight that will fly take the players from the Gambia back to Yamoussoukro, and if they are to come back to the Gambia, it includes that. And the most important part, and it takes the chunk of the budget, which is the match bonuses, the allowance of players, is a lot of money. If you look at it, if we could have one institution to say, we are going to take care of that, and the NCC would just go and sleep, because that takes a huge part of the budget, I can tell you. So this is why, government cannot do it alone. We need stakeholders in sports and sports development. And when we say that, it doesn't mean that it's all about the National Sports Council, let's say the minister, or those individuals interested in Gambian sports. No, because everybody in this country, or you can say 99% of Gambians, are interested in sports. Football in particular, we are talking about here, is the most popular sport. When Gambia qualified, you could hear the jubilation everywhere, from every part of the country. So as a business or the private sector, this is a platform to really get the publicity that you need. If you come up with the money, the amount we're asking for here, we're saying as an NCC to be a main partner, if you could come up with $10 million, you would be a main partner, giving 3 air tickets to travel to Cote d'Ivoire, and that with those individuals traveling would be fully taken care of. But notwithstanding, you have other benefits where you would gain the publicity. Imagine, because we all know the CAF regulations, there's a stop to that. But there would be a time, let's say at camping, where the national team would wear jerseys branded QCell or QTV. That is huge publicity for the Q group. so we, or any other bank or any other institution in this country. So I think it is a great opportunity that institutions should take definitely this opportunity to come on board, support government,
and if you
support
need
the nation.
advertisement, I think football is the biggest sport.
I'm telling you, it's the biggest platform you can ever get to do your
The biggest
publicity.
brand that you can get in visibility is football, because it's being watched by
everywhere,
globally all over the world, and football.
And this is AFCON we are talking about.
Yes,
this is Africa.
It's Africa's football showpiece.
Yes,
it's the biggest
football,
event
and
in the
it's
continent.
popular because we have most of our players playing in the Premiership, in the La Liga, and all these popular leagues around the world. This is where African players, so when they go back to their national teams during the AFCON is popular because most of these people who support these clubs, they also want to follow their individual players back home.
Yeah, of course,
so this is what makes the AFCON really popular. So this would be a very good opportunity for business in this country. If you're really serious about getting the right publicity, you should definitely come on board and be part of the sponsors of this year's Road to AFCON.
You've talked about letters being distributed to potential partners, institutions, and what has been the response so far at committee level, especially those who are in the fundraising committee? Have there been positive responses as to pledges and things like that? Of
course, there are positive response so far. But as we all know in this country, sometimes people, you have to walk up to them. We've just said that the best platform right now to get the right publicity you need is through football. But maybe someone sits in his or her corner, doesn't really understand that. Sometimes you have to walk up to them and sell these ideas to them. That is when you can have them on board. And this is why the fundraising committee has decided to go up to these individuals and institutions. But notwithstanding, at the level of the committee, I can confirm that there are already proposals. There are already proposals to institutions whom we've not even been written to at the time. I've already sent in proposals to say we want to be partners of the National Coordinating Committee, and this is what we have to offer. And I would always want to make reference to this. It was the last AFCON, but people like Mr. Mendy, Malik Mendy, just walked into the National Sports Council and said, I have this to donate to Road to AFCON. Where can I do my donation? And then we just handed him over a receipt, and then he did a cash donation. This time around, we are yet to have that, but we're definitely expecting that would happen, because already at the level of the committee, we've received some individuals already committing themselves, which is a pledge to say that they are going to do X, Y, and Z. To be honest, but it's not as it is expected as we speak, to be honest. Okay.
Ida, when it comes to accountability purpose, so an individual somewhere would want to see, okay, if I put in this money, where is this money going to go to? What assurance can you give the public and anybody who is thinking like that? Yes, this is my national team. I love my country. I'm a patriotic citizen. I love football. I want to contribute. But when I contribute this money, is it going to be accounted for?
Of course, this is why especially at the level of the NCC and the chairperson, the Honorable Minister is definitely not joking with that. He keeps emphasizing that every payment or every expenditure, because at the end of the day, you have to, let's say if you're going to charter a flight, that is at the level of the logistics committee, they would have to deal directly with the airline, and monies would not be paid in any individual's name, or a check would not be issued in any individual's name. It has to be paid to, let's say, the airline that is going to charter the players from Banjul to Yamoussoukro. This is just an example. And there is a payment system that's been drawn. We're working with the Minister of Finance. Like I said, at the level of the National Coordinating Committee, we have different stakeholders in the committee, and we have the Minister of Finance very well much represented in the committee. We have one of the DPSs there in the committee, and another person who works for the ministry, and they are definitely taking note of that. I can fully remember Auntie Julda's words in the meetings that all payments must be directed through the system, no individual payments. When it comes to retirement, we just retire to the public, especially how, where and when this expenditure was done. So that is something the finance, especially the finance committee, is definitely working on to make sure that there is transparency. And this is another reason why the committee is negotiating with one of the partners for now. It's not yet confirmed, but it's like a form of online payment. Everything would be done online. In that way, it would definitely be easy and transparent and a very easy way of retiring everything, so that almost all the payments, even if you want to donate and anything that you want to do, you don't have to give cash to either or to Mahmoud or to Honorable Minister. You will just have to use that platform and do your donations. Again, payments will be done through that system. Okay. This is one form of accountability method that the National Coordinating Committee is ready to use.
In as much as private sector is important, businesses, they're the ones who can bring the millions. But individuals, maybe a small startup wants to also contribute. Are they invited, or they are $10 and $20 and $100 is not important? Is it?
Of course, definitely. This is why we would want to use all platforms. As we know, mobile transfer like Q Money is something that is very common now in the country. So this is one platform or one avenue that the National Coordinating Committee before the end of the week would come up with which of these money transfer we would utilize to call on every Gambians to make their donations. There is also a GoFundMe account being created. You must have seen that all over social media.
Exactly.
The other mechanism we have is that we are working with the National Scorpions Fan Club. As you know, they're also one of the stakeholders, very key in football. So they are part of the National Coordinating Committee. So we will work with them because they have that decentralization strategy where they would go to communities, kind of have a box. I wish I could show you but I definitely cannot show you. It's a sample for now. No. But we've come up with this idea of using like the kondane, the traditional kondane, like a big size, like a bigger one, which we would use to together with the National Fan Club. They would take this from the metal workshop. It will all be sealed, but you just have a space where you could drop a dalasi or even $200 in note, and they take these things out to different communities, to markets, to anywhere they believe that they can place this box, and Gambians will generously and voluntarily donate towards Road to AFCON. That is one mechanism that we want to use. I've mentioned the online platforms. We've also said the EcoBank and Trust Bank accounts are still there, the one we used during the last Road to AFCON. We definitely continuing with those accounts. If you go to all our social media platforms, you can find it there. Or you walk into the National Sports Council office, we can furnish you with all this information. Or you can contact, if you just go online and go to any of these platforms, definitely you can find our numbers where you can call, and we can direct you as to what to do if you want to donate. We are targeting every Gambian. I keep saying this, there's a lot to be done in order to motivate the players. It's not all about money. There are other ways to motivate them. The match bonuses will be, and allowances would be increased, which we all know, just to motivate them. And as we know, we are not in an easy group. We need to motivate these players. But it doesn't stop there. I keep saying this. If a player is out there, they must have had, the government so far have committed this. An institution like QCell has committed this. They would hear, wow, they would appreciate it, but they would appreciate it even more. That would motivate them even more. If they know the groundnut seller at the street contributed $5 towards their participation in the AFCON. If they know that the old woman
that might even give them more energy to perform well.
If they know the old woman that lifts heavy pan on their heads early in the morning, going to the market, sell their what's it called, bonga fish at the end of the day, or lettuce or whatever vegetables they sell, and at the end of the day they spend $50 or $100 cheap in that box. That would really motivate the players even more, because they would know that my nation, my country, is definitely behind me, and the youngest person or whatever status that particular Gambian is has thought of my success as an individual player and as a country. So this would definitely energize the players. It would motivate them. So this is why I am definitely calling on all Gambians, even a dalasi would go a long way in this process. So it doesn't matter if it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 15, and by the time we have launched an SMS service to say, just send this message, and you've donated this amount of money to Road to AFCON, I just urge Gambians to do it. We do this for our nation.
There are some plans also. I was at the first press conference where they talked about having sort of a dinner where the president would be invited and then, you know, corporate bodies will be invited to either buy tables and that sort of thing. How far are plans when it comes to those?
We still have those plans on the table, but before getting into that, another plan that we have is a fundraising concert. During the last AFCON, you could remember the public made some noise about that. Gambian artists were not really seen in the forefront as far as the campaign for Road to AFCON was concerned. This time around, we've seen how best we can involve them, engage them, so that we can have a fundraising concert. A fundraising concert within days that the players would be here, so that they could even be featured on the stage to say they are also here lining up and definitely appreciating the public support. And at the end of the day, it's a fundraising concert. That's another source of income for the National Coordinating Committee. Another one is the exhibition match. It's been a while. There has not been any interface or direct involvement between the public and the players. We've only been watching them on TV and all of that. So we are planning together with the technical committee, because the boys will not spend more than 3 days here, to see how best we can have an exhibition match at the Independence Stadium.
The public will definitely love that.
And the public would definitely love that, like you said. And at the end of the day, they will be asked to pay a certain amount of money to be able to watch that exhibition match. And at the end of the day, we will use those funds again towards our road to AFCON. The last but not the least, the one you've mentioned, the last time it was our biggest source of revenue, the dinner we had at the presidency. The president hosted the players with corporate institutions. We had cash donations there of millions of dollars. We had pledges. You know, we had institutions coming with check at the dinner when the night when the president was handing over the battle flag to the national team before the night before they left for Cameroon. And this time around, plans are on the way. We're definitely advanced on that to see, because it's a presidential thing. It's not that easy just to arrange it in a day or two, but we're still working on that and hope for that, because the president is definitely passionate about whatever is going on regarding the country's participation in AFCON, because it's not something small. This is back-to-back we are talking about. So many countries made it there. Let's say Madagascar made it there, and until now, it's been difficult for them to find themselves there back to the AFCON. We made it. It's big to every one of us, including him. So I'm sure the members of the committee working on that would definitely finalize and come back to the public to give them the necessary update. And I'm hopeful that at the end of the day, the dinner would happen, because that's where you have most of these institutions come in and donate towards Road to AFCON.
Well, Ida, when it comes to the Gambia Football Federation, they're not here, but the plans are that the national team would fly to Saudi Arabia first for a training camp for a period of time, and then they would move from there, and then they would come to Gambia, spend some time. It's within that period we would have this exhibition match that is being planned, and then they would finally also go to Morocco, and then it is from Morocco that they will fly to Yamoussoukro and you know, get us into the AFCON. I'm sure those plans also require a lot of money. For the Saudi Arabia trip, I understand that one there is a partnership between the Gambia Football Federation and the Saudi Football Federation. But aside from that, everything else costs a lot of money.
Exactly.
So money, money, money.
Money, money, money. And the same public keep urging the ministry to support the federation to organize friendlies and these technical preparations, because after our qualification we've been seeing a lot of complaints that Gambia is the only team so far that has qualified for AFCON and is not engaged in any technical preparation so far. But all of these things,
yes, that's true, because we missed a lot of FIFA dates,
exactly,
international matches.
But all of these things come with cost, and at the end of the day, you could see before the last when we were to play the last qualifying games match rather, what happened. So it comes with, these are all expenses, and as we speak, these technical preparations are lined up, and like you said, I'm glad you mentioned it, these are all expenses that needs to be covered by the National Coordinating Committee, because it comes with you have to pay for hotel, you have to pay that's accommodation actually with their feeding, you have to come up with their camping allowances, which is different from their match bonus. all of that needs to be catered for, and we are talking about and the number 27. We are talking about 27 players, and remember, CAF increased the number. That I forgot to mention. Even at the level of the during the tournament, CAF is not covering for all those extra players.
Yes, yeah.
CAF would only accommodate the traditional 22 players, and the rest of the players would be covered from the National Coordinating Committee budget. All of these are expenses that needs to be covered by the National Coordinating Committee. It's a lot of money. So this is why we need definitely the contribution of every Gambian, no matter where you are. If you are a Gambian residing in the Gambia, a Gambian abroad,
and we should also say even non-Gambians who wills the Gambia well,
exactly,
and they support the Gambian national team.
Of the Gambia, we call on them. I could remember last time, during the last road to AFCON, during one of our programs, one of the TV stations, imagine someone called all the way from Germany and said, because I have a Gambian friend, so I am pledging 50 euros. And at the end of the day, the person fulfilled that pledge just because he has a Gambian friend. So we definitely call on not only Gambians, but well-wishers of this country to definitely come on board and support this cause.
Support this cause. It's a lot of money. There are lots of expenses from the players, allowances, match bonuses, if you like, and also getting them a chartered flight so that they can feel comfortable, jet into Yamoussoukro, play the Africa Cup of Nations, maybe even do far better than they did in the last AFCON, reaching the quarterfinals. So the call is there. You've heard it, and I am so many Gambians who love football would want to contribute as part of this cause. Ida, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Gejega, for having us on this platform. We hope to see you again.
Yes, thank you very much. That's it for Qsports tonight, and have a pleasant night. Bye.